At the beginning of your career, you probably don't have a lot of money, right? So in that particular case, the social way is the best way to go. Getting your stuff online, it's free to do. So as an example, even if you don't have a video, put your stuff up on YouTube, put your stuff up on SoundCloud. Get people, get potential fans to see your music, listen to your music, react to your music. And as an artist, you should be touching every possible person you can and saying, come look at my SoundCloud page, come look at my YouTube page, follow me on Twitter, engage with me. And those are the initial steps. If you've developed a little bit of money, then maybe you put out a video on YouTube. If you have a great stage presence, make sure to go out on tour, do local shows. You can buy on to some bigger name shows if you need to. If you have a few extra dollars, buy a publicist. Use a publicist. Get your name out there at the crucial blogs, within the magazines, within the websites. So those are the basic stages that I'd like to see. You have to give away free music, whether it's on SoundCloud, YouTube, or otherwise, so that people can become familiar with you and start to become fans. It has to be done that way. It's very difficult. I mean, you look at the biggest guy possibly out there right now, Justin Bieber. He was found from his YouTube videos. Usher saw it, said, oh my God, this guy's got this huge reaction, and I'm going to sign him. And the rest is history. But that was a jump-off point. So you need to have those things on lock. They don't have to be expensive. The worst thing I can hear from an artist is, I need money to do it. I can't do it on my own. Once they start to say that, it's no one that I want to work with. I want to work with that guy who's hungry, who's going to hustle and make things happen for himself, not to rely on everybody else. Make it happen for yourself.
Is there a social network the music industry prefers over another? You know, is there a platform it kind of looks at more so than others?
I would say YouTube is the number one for us in terms of just looking at the, it gives us an idea as to see the videos, gives us an idea as to see how many people have seen your videos, what kind of reactions. That's usually where I'll go first, is to YouTube. Now, every artist is different.
And what are you looking for on YouTube? Is there anything specific? Like, are you looking for the most professional, well put together video, or are you looking for the artist? You know, what specifically should someone kind of know? I'm ready, and I don't care if it's not perfect. You know, but where should the effort be mainly?
Fan reaction. The worst thing you can do with putting out music is give the fans apathy. It doesn't move me one way or the other. I want to see you being loved or hated. I want to see people commenting on this. So, make sure your music is quality, make sure it impacts people and evokes an emotion within those people. Once that happens, that turns into views on YouTube, likes or dislikes on YouTube, and comments. And like I said, I love to see negative comments. I know a lot of times artists have a hard time seeing it, but the artists that are the most hated tend to sell the most. So it's okay to get some hate. And obviously you want a lot of love and attention, but talk about it. Let's talk about me as an artist. That's what I want to see. So I'm looking specifically at the number of views, the number of likes, the number of dislikes, the number of comments, and the quality of comments. Those are specifically the things that I'm looking for.
And are there any specific mistakes you've seen people make? Like, I'm sure you see this all the time. What are some of the more typical mistakes you hear people make, other than just, I don't have money is obviously a good excuse for not doing anything for any business anywhere. But is there any type of maybe technical mistake or things people are doing that you can advise those listening to that to say, hey, let's just be cautious of that, because obviously they're watching?
Work ethic, or lack thereof, is the biggest mistake. Not believing in yourself. Not believing that you have the ability to win. You have to come in knowing that you're that guy that's one in a million that's going to make it to that next level. So you need to have that mind frame along with the work ethic. If you don't have those two things, you have no chance. So if you're ambivalent or you don't think you're that good, then you probably shouldn't be in this business. If you know you're that guy and you're willing to work and put anything above to make that happen, that's what I want to see. So the antithesis is what you have to avoid.
And a lot of people today look at, Kanye West, Jay-Z, they see millions of dollars, they see kind of money flowing from every angle, record deals, labels, everything in between, throwing them something. They misunderstand the amount of time it gets to getting to a level like that. Can you maybe share a little bit about the type of dollars people should expect? What is a reasonable kind of like path for a track record someone should look at by year one, year three, year five, so that I know there's always exceptions, but is there kind of a norm that you can share so people are aligning their reality to what's really happening, not what they're just seeing in the media?
I don't know if there's some specific stats, but let me take into account Jay-Z, who you mentioned. I actually was lucky enough to work his first album, Reasonable Doubt, back in 1996. And what happened is Jay-Z put out, and this is considered to be his seminal classical piece, and he put it out. He came to LA. No one had known who Jay-Z was. I had to beg, borrow, and plead for people to come see Jay-Z. I literally had 7 or 8 people come to a bar where he performed for us. I had to bribe everyone with drinks. What this guy did is he worked his ass off. He spent his own money, believing in himself, marketing himself, and just wouldn't give up. As one example, there's something called co-op, which is money that the record labels give to music retailers in exchange for sale pricing and prime positioning within their store. And you have a minimum amount that you have to do. Jay-Z spent a ton of money on this, and that kept him visible out there. And I don't know initially, as a matter of fact, I know it wasn't so profitable on his first release. But what it was an investment within himself that propelled him to the future in the next 20 years, and look where he is today. So in terms of where you want to be, in terms of numbers and stuff like that, the crucial thing is when you're working with a label, make sure they get their money back. That's the first thing, is if they're able to fully recoup, that's a positive thing, and people believe that you're on a upside growth pattern. So literally breaking even on a first release is a great statistic to have. Obviously, if you're able to sell some units and you're like Jay-Z and this album goes gold, it took a while of hardcore grinding and now it's multi-platinum, but establishing that fan base, it costs money to get to that fan base, and you've got to keep those fans. And Jay-Z has kept these same fans for 20 plus years. So it's doing those things. So I can't give you any specific thresholds as to what a first album should look like. It's all based on relative how much you spend on marketing and stuff like that.
Well, you brought up that Jay-Z spent some money on his own, to make sure that his album was marketed properly, in addition to what the labels were doing, etc. Can you maybe share, like, is that money coming from advances that are given? Is that money really from someone having a side job? What should be the expectation to? I mean, I'm sure everybody that really believes in themselves obviously would want to showcase that their efforts are converting and therefore push that momentum forward. But some people will be like, well, do I need to get money first? So that they understand not to be ripped off in that industry? Or are they being played by a label that then says, hey, you know what? We want you to spend your own money because we don't believe in you. Like, where is that threshold in terms of understanding what's fair?
I hate when people say they're not willing to spend their own money to start their career, that they want me to roll the dice on them. Invest in yourself, right? If you're an artist, invest in yourself, spend the money on yourself, see if you've got something, see if it pays back. So initially, yeah, the money has to come from the artist. How can the artist make it? I recently had an artist that was working at a gas station, and he finally was able to quit his job and go on a monster tour, and now, that's all behind him. So yeah, you might need a second job. You might need things like that to support yourself. I have no desire to spend any money on you unless I know there's already a demand for you. So you have to spend whatever it takes to develop that following, that fan base. And it can be different for different people. You might get lucky, like a Psy who had that Gangnam Style, and it just explodes on his first situation. Usually, however, it takes multiple years of a hard grind to get you there. And no one is going to invest in you unless they know they're going to get their money back and make a profit. So for me to come in and say, oh yeah, your music's great, I know you haven't put in any money, I'm going to come in. I'm not doing that. Just not going to do that. You had to have done a lot of this on your own. So yeah, you've got to invest in yourself to make it. Once you hit a certain threshold, of course, as a record label like RBC, we're going to inject dollars into your marketing, into your studio recordings, or into whatever else we deem the right way to allocate the funds.